I did my project on the effect of photoperiod on colostrum quality. I did this because this past summer I joined Kayla's photoperiod project, which consisted of basically testing the colostrum levels immediately after calving. There were 36 cows total that continued filling the two rooms. One room was the long day, which consisted of 16 hours of flight, and the other room was the short day, which consisted of 8 hours of flight. Once the semester began, I continued to help Kayla with the project with the on-farm project research, basically until it ended. And then while also beginning the fall semester, I joined an independent study about this exact project actually. And so within this project, I figured out what colostrum is. So basically colostrum is the first milking immediately after calving. And colostrum is vital to the calf because unlike humans, calves don't have antibodies provided to them in utero. The only source is from the cow's milk. So this milk should be provided, so the milk should provide them with enough antibodies to stay healthy. So, the further you dive into colostrum, you realize the essential parts of why it's needed. So, colostrum is made up of immunoglobulins that consist of IgA, IgG, and IgM levels. And then in my independent study, I tested IgG and IgM levels, which I'll go more into depth further into this presentation. So, the main reason why this project was done is because photoperiod is thought to have an effect on colostrum levels in Jersey cows in the short day lengths, basically in their late summer - early fall season. And with these low colostrum levels, they result in poor calf health. So this study was conducted to figure out if photoperiod does have an effect, but we didn't only test it on Jerseys, we also tested it on Holsteins. And then sadly, because there were 36 cows and ELISA is about 10 to 12 cows per thing, you do 2 ELISAs per basically session, I was unable to complete all the ELISA projects for all the cows in the study, so I cannot give you an exact answer of whether this assumption was made, but if you know Jane Duncan, Jane and I came up with a conclusion from our results that photoperiod doesn't have an effect, at least definitely not dealt with Holsteins, so it's definitely something Jersey related and why their colostrum levels drop in short day photoperiods, but hopefully once they do complete the full project, they will be able to figure out those answers. So I'm just going to give a little bit of depth about my about my independent study and the charts and graphs that I was able to take from my ELISAs. So basically, I completed ELISA projects throughout this entire semester. I first started with testing the IgG levels of colostrum and made a lot of errors in the beginning, so my samples were not aligned with my curve. In order for an ELISA to be complete, you have to basically have all the samples match your standard curve, as shown. I did not, but I was able to take some of the cow samples, like definitely in the beginning, I was able to take those, but due to like poor pipetting, poor washing, inadequate in the washing station, anything like that would mess up the samples, and I struggled a little bit in the beginning. But now for bovine IgM, I become an expert at being a lab assistant and fix all my errors. We were able to keep the results and use them towards the final answer. The next slide is another slide that I ran that dealt with IgM that was correct. As shown, you can see it's more along the standard curve, and we were able to both use the IgM levels for the entire project. So I found one article that had completed a similar study with the same assumption of jerseys, and they had stated that during the dry period, during the cow's dry period, the photo period did not have an effect on the amount of colostrum. So with this, I basically am just gonna give y'all an estimated guess because this project was not completed, still is not completed. Kayla has to finish, if y'all know Kayla Aller, she has to finish this project. But basically, we did not find effect on photoperiod and how it relates to colostrum, but hopefully in Jerseys we'll be able to find out exactly what is the source and why their colostrum levels do drop. But even with this article that I did find, they were also unable to find any answers related to why Jersey's colostrum does drop.